How fasting changes your sleep. That's right. Right now, everyone's talking about intermittent fasting for weight loss and either fasting for religious and spiritual reasons, as well as health reasons too, just general fasting. Today, I want to talk about how that fasting affects your sleep both positively and negatively. Recently, Jim Kwik did a video called How Fasting Changes Your Brain Permanently. It was a really good video, and it really talked a lot about your blood sugar levels and how fasting actually helps to kind of even some of that out to change your brain permanently. But I wanted to add some extra information on how fasting affects your sleep. If you're new here, I'm Dr. Robyn Scott. I am your sleep health coach and a clinical pharmacist for over 20 years, helping you to get the most amazing sleep ever. So I wanted to go into what fasting is. We all know this is really the voluntary withdrawal of eating. Now, there's different types of fasting that people do. Some people do complete fasting where there's no liquids involved, no food involved, and some just do food. So there's a variety of fastings. But for this particular video, we're going to look at intermittent fasting mostly and touch a little bit on more of the long-term fasting as well. It's really has surged recently in the most recent years as a way to improve your health. And also is a great way to kind of control your weight for those people who are really looking to really shed some of those unwanted pounds. So we're going to look into some of the science behind it, and I want to look at the good and the bad of what can happen when you're fasting for your sleep. So fasting can affect your circadian rhythm. The circadian rhythm is just a fancy term for our internal clock. We were all created with an internal clock where we wake up at a certain time, we go to bed at a certain time, crave foods at certain times, and actually each organ operates optimally and does elimination and metabolisms at certain times of the day. It's really a fascinating subject. We could do a whole series, and we will one day, just on the circadian rhythm. Fasting also affects the cortisol levels, your insulin levels, your human growth hormone levels, adrenaline levels. So we're going to look at all of this and how the timing of the fasting, the duration of how long you're going to be fasting affects it, and also how diet, your lifestyle just really interplays with this. So let's hit the positive first. Some of the positive things is fasting can actually help to regulate your circadian rhythm. So we have a lot of people, and I deal with this with clients because we're looking at how to optimize their sleep. They're used to eating late at night, eating big meals late at night, even snacking all night. That is very detrimental to your circadian rhythm. So you really want to have a cutoff time, and we talk about this a lot. And this is actually kind of a very small way of fasting that kind of is built into us naturally without calling it fasting. You should have a cutoff time at least 3 hours for your last big meal of the evening until you go to bed at night, because this affects your circadian rhythm big time. If you're eating your big meal and then going right to sleep, your body is spending so much of its energy reserves in actually digesting the food that it cannot rest. Digestion actually takes up a lot of energy from us, a tremendous amount that we need hours before going to bed, before we actually can get that rest that we need. So definitely have that cutoff time. So those people who are eating late at night, they will see that during that intermittent fasting that they're going to actually start regulating that circadian rhythm. Increase in human growth hormone. As we get older, this human growth hormone starts to decrease. And this is really important because we need this for muscle and tissue repair while we sleep. So fasting will actually see an increase in this hormone, which can actually increase getting muscle repair, tissue repair while we're sleeping as well. Another really benefit that can be seen that can help with sleep is fasting is decrease risk for sleep apnea. One of the major issues with sleep apnea that a lot of the health doctors, the various science and medicine and sleep medicine physicians especially, they note that decreasing their weight, so losing weight, will actually decrease the risk for sleep apnea. And this is very serious. And I just wanted to note there's a difference between, people who are snoring and actually are having that sleep apnea issues where they're not getting enough oxygen at night. And extremely risk, this can lead to obstructive sleep apnea, where some people actually stop breathing altogether at night. This is very dangerous and frightening. And a lot of people who do experience this will actually use those CPAP machines to actually supply that additional oxygen and that positive airway pressure that's much needed during nighttime. And this can actually be seen a lot worse for people who have excess weight. So weight loss that comes with fasting can actually be a plus for your sleep, decreasing in the sleep apnea issues. So those are some of the positive signs that you can definitely see if you're doing a fasting routine or intermittent fasting. Those are some of the positive issues you can see with your sleep. We're going to talk about some of the negative issues you can definitely see. So fasting can actually make it more difficult to fall asleep. And now this isn't more of the intermittent, this is more of the long-term fasting issues. And this is because there's increased and elevated cortisol levels. We know this is the stress hormone. And when these levels increase, they can increase the blood sugar levels, increase other, so many issues that cortisol can cause. And these can definitely cause us to have issues falling asleep. Another issue can be somebody who has issues regulating their blood sugar. If that blood sugar plummets during the night, your body will naturally wake you up because it thinks you're starving. So that's it's just miraculously how we're made, but that's a major issue that could also occur during fasting. So that's something you want to make sure you've leveled off blood sugars if you're going to be doing that fasting. Also, when you're fasting, you're alerting the body. It's like the body thinks, oh my God, she's starving. What's going on? So you're alerting that flight or fight system that we have, the sympathetic nervous system. And so we're going to see increased adrenaline. Your body's going to think, okay, do we need to fight off hunger? What is going on that we're not getting food? So you're going to enter that flight or fight system where it's hard to get to sleep. The the body doesn't know that we just watched a recent YouTube video encouraging us to, try some fasting. It thinks we're in trouble. And because of that increased adrenaline is going to wreck our sleep. So another thing we're going to see is decreased REM sleep. This is the major sleep that's associated with dreaming and memory consolidation. So all the things that we're learning throughout the day and everything we're picking up through the day, the week, the months, they're consolidated during our sleep. That's when they gel together and really become activated during our sleep. So people who are doing some, really extended fasting can see that they have issues with their memory and so forth. So that's also something else to really keep in mind. There can also have decrease in some of the issues with neurotransmitters. We know our happy hormone is the serotonin, and they can have a decrease in some of the serotonin. So that's some of the issues of the negative issues. So we've talked about what fasting is, the voluntary withdrawal of food. Sometimes it can be liquid. Sometimes it can be just edible food. Sometimes it can be a mixture of both. We looked at some of the positive effects of it, okay? And then we touched on some of the negative. So here's some strategies to really help you navigate some of these effects. If you are interested in fasting, maybe you want to get rid of some excess weight going on. Sometimes it's really for spiritual reasons, to get spiritual awakenings and so forth. All of these can be great reasons for fasting. So you wanted to do a gradual introduction. That's number one. You want to minimize sleep disruptions. You want to start shorter fasting periods. Now, I already mentioned one of the natural fasting periods we all should be doing is that 3-hour cutoff for a big major meal. If you need a little bit of a snack before bed, it should kind of fit the palm of your hand. That'll tell you how much you can eat. Someone who's, smaller, petite, they're going to have a small snack. Someone who, has larger, they can have a bigger snack because it's whatever can fit kind of in the palm of your hand. But you definitely want to have that gradual introduction into major fasting, and not just have cold turkey fasting. Just slowly get into it. Another recommendation is that you are seeking help. Usually some support from either a healthcare practitioner, whether you prefer, more naturopath, holistic healthcare people. If you're working specifically with your physician, your MD, to get that help, your nurse practitioner, make sure you're working with someone for that support and that health while you're fasting. Also, your timing of the fasting. You want to align your fasting period to end several hours before your bedtime. And you want to avoid late night eating in general. So we already definitely touched on that. One of the things, you want to have a lot of support while fasting. Some of the fasts I've done, I've needed tremendous support. I noticed you're actually doing a detox of the body during that period. One of the fasts recently I done, I remember getting like a rash. And it was, detoxing that was occurring. So you want to make sure you are in contact with people who are either detox specialists, fasting specialists, your physician, your nurse practitioner, whoever it is that you trust with your health. Definitely be in communication and contact and sharing your symptoms with them. They can alert you if this is a natural detox reaction or if something else is going on. You definitely need to have that. And finally, to really help with fasting, you need all the support you can get in terms of optimizing your sleep hygiene. So looking at your environment, I've gone and done videos in environment. I'll probably do even more. So making sure that temperature is right. You want to be as comfortable as possible if you're going to be doing the fast, and have everything prepared in advance. So you have your natural fiber sheets that feel great and amazing. Weighted sleep items can be really comforting and soothing, like weighted blankets and even weighted pillows. They've done some really amazing studies on those. They actually are emotionally and mentally soothing to help us get that sleep that we need. You're also going to want to look at a quiet bedroom, not a lot of noise. If you need some type of noise, and some people do really good with white noise, brown noise at night, those are some options you can use as well. That you want blackout curtains and a blackout shade so that you don't have any light really interrupting and disrupting, causing decreased melatonin. And that's what that evening light does, including, we've gone over this too, that blue light will definitely, and that's that blue light coming off of your cell phone, your tablet, your TV. It disrupts the production of melatonin, making it more difficult to get to sleep. Taking a soothing bath before, and really just having those relaxation practices. I'd advise that you practice those in advance. Don't wait till the fast. Already have those in place and know what you want to do. Various meditation, stretching exercises, deep breathing exercises, yoga nidra exercises. You want all of these to have you actually have practiced these ahead of time so that you know that they're effective and that they work for you, and have them ready to go. And a lot of them, you don't need much ready to go. When you're breathing, those are just exercises you've practiced, your meditative practice, your bath, and make sure you're adding some great magnesium to that bath, either in the form of Epsom salts or magnesium flakes you can get from your health food store. So that's basically most of the information we've talked today about fasting and sleep. Jim Kwik did a really, really good video on how fasting affects your brain and affects it permanently. So this is nothing to be taken lightly. Definitely work with a specialist while you are fasting, and definitely make sure you reach out and in communication with them. Okay, so I have some really great material for you here. Make sure you subscribe and like. We have some goodies below. I have a free Get Better Sleep PDF for you, completely free. Look in the link below to get yours today, and I'll see you next time.